Welcome to This Explainer. If you've looked at your bank account recently and felt that familiar tight knot of stress in your stomach, man, I absolutely want to validate that for you right now. Look, Australia is undoubtedly one of the most gorgeous countries on the planet, but let's be totally honest with ourselves. We're paying a massive premium for the sunshine, aren't we? It is just incredibly expensive right now. Rents have completely surged, utility bills are creeping up every single quarter, and honestly, managing money feels harder than it literally ever has before. But hey, don't worry, because today we're going to fix that. $8,000. That's a staggering number, right? That is the exact amount the average Aussie household drops on groceries alone every single year. When your everyday essentials are costing that much, you can't just fix your budget by skipping a latte here and there. Okay, let's dive into this, because we absolutely need a comprehensive tactical approach to stop the bleeding. And to do exactly that, we're relying on an incredible resource as our ultimate blueprint today. This is the Help for People guide created by JRT. You know what I really love about this source material? It was put together by an ordinary Australian who just decided to finally fight back against the crazy cost of living. There are zero gimmicks here, no weird get-rich-quick schemes, just highly practical, tested, everyday strategies that we're going to break down to help you beat inflation completely without making those extreme, painful sacrifices. So, what's the actual payoff for hanging out with me today? Well, by combining these everyday tactics, you can realistically put between $5,000 to over $20,000 right back in your pocket every single year. Seriously, just think about those numbers. We're talking $2,000 to $4,000 back on groceries, up to 10 grand on your mortgage, and over $1,000 on your mobile plan. This isn't just spare change, guys. This is actual life-changing money. To hit that 20 grand target, here's our game plan for today. 1. The cost of living. 2. The money mindset. 3. Slashing housing costs. And 4. Winning at the supermarket. All right, Section 1, the cost of living, Australia's beautiful but expensive reality, with Sydney and Melbourne literally sitting in the global top 10 most costly cities. Relying on the old way of managing your money just won't cut it anymore. Moving on to Section 2, the money mindset, building your financial foundation. Before we can even think about conquering the supermarket, we absolutely need a rock-solid plan. And that brings us to the absolute golden ratio of budgeting, the 50-30-20 rule. It's brilliant. You basically divide your income into 3 clear buckets. 50% goes to your absolute needs, 30% goes to your flexible wants, and that final 20% is strictly dedicated to savings and debt repayment. I know, it sounds super simple, right? But visualizing your money this way creates a real compounding sense of empowerment. You aren't restricting yourself, you're just giving every single dollar a specific job. And this brilliantly illustrates how categorizing those buckets accurately is just so essential. Needs are your absolute non-negotiables. Rent, mortgage, basic groceries, utilities, and getting to work. Contrast that with your wants, eating out, those streaming subscriptions, weekend entertainment. Once you clearly separate those essential needs from your flexible wants, it becomes incredibly obvious exactly where your money is leaking out. But hey, you don't need to be tracking all this with a pen and paper like it's 1995. You've got some incredible free digital financial assistance right at your fingertips. Apps like Pocketbook or Money Brilliant automatically categorize your transactions for you. Upbank and Frollo use these awesome built-in spending categories, and ASIC MoneySmart is a fantastic free planner from the government. Oh, and here's a massive pro tip straight from our source material. Start paying yourself first. If you set up an automatic transfer to a separate savings account, the minute you get paid, even just $50 a week, that automatically piles up to $2,600 a year, and you literally don't even have to think about it. All right, Section 3, slashing housing costs. Tackling your absolute biggest expense. This is where the truly massive wins happen, so let's get into it. So let's recognize the playing field we're on. We're talking about finding thousands of dollars in savings just hiding in plain sight. Seriously, far too many of us are paying what is essentially a massive loyalty tax in both banking and real estate. Whether you're paying rent or paying off a loan, if you just stick with the exact same lender or the same landlord year after year without questioning the rate, it is literally costing you thousands of dollars. Now, if you already have a mortgage, here is your rapid-fire checklist. Ready? Step 1. Call your bank today and ask for a better rate. Literally just mentioning you might refinance often triggers an immediate rate cut. Step 2. Use a broker to compare dozens of lenders for free. Step 3. Refinance every 2 to 3 years to chase those cashback bonuses. And Step 4, which is absolutely my favorite, switch your payments to fortnightly. It acts like a literal financial time machine. Because there are 26 fortnights in a year, you accidentally make one extra monthly payment annually. That tiny tweak alone can shave 4 to 5 entire years off a 30-year loan. How crazy is that? But what if you don't have a mortgage yet? For new buyers, definitely use a broker and look into the first home guarantee. It lets eligible buyers get in with just a 5% deposit, completely avoiding lenders' mortgage insurance. And for the renters out there, I know the fear of rising costs is super real, but you actually have power here. Negotiate your rent at renewal time. Landlords usually much prefer keeping a reliable tenant over dealing with an empty property. And look, if things are getting really tight, share accommodation. Teaming up and splitting costs can save you between $400 and $800 every single month. Which brings us to Section 4, winning at the supermarket, the easiest everyday savings. Now, what's really interesting about this next phase is how easily we can tackle those massive grocery bills. Take a second to absorb this core philosophy from our source material. The key is strategy, not sacrifice. I absolutely love that. You really do not have to change what you eat to save money. You definitely don't have to live on plain rice and beans. You literally just have to change how you go about buying it. And when you change how you buy, the results are absolutely shocking. You have the very real potential to cut your grocery bill by a whopping 50%. Yep, half. And you can pull this off simply by stepping away from that random, impulsive shopping we all do and finally adopting a real system. So here is that insider system, plain and simple. First, get into the Tuesday special routine. Both Kohl's and Woolworths drop their new weekly special catalogs every single Tuesday. Jump on their apps and scope them out. Second, strictly build your shopping list around the items that are 40 to 50% off. It's a total game changer because these stores constantly alternate their half-price specials. Third, stack your savings. If you spend $30 or more at Woolworths, you grab that 4-cent per liter fuel docket for Caltex. See, it's all about just being deliberate with your cash. The Helpful People Guide reminds us of one crucial thing. We have to actually take action today. Just think about everything we've covered in this explainer. If you start stacking these little micro habits, switching to fortnightly mortgage payments, setting up that automatic $50 weekly transfer, and doing your grocery run based purely on those Tuesday half-price specials, you will so easily bridge the gap to that massive $20,000 annual savings target. So I want to leave you with this final provocative question. These strategies are all right here, ready to go. They're totally proven, they're wildly practical, and best of all, they don't force you into extreme sacrifices. So are you ready for the 30-day savings challenge? I'm challenging you to immediately test out just 1 or 2 of these tactics this week. Do it, and just watch as you fundamentally change your financial future. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and hey, happy saving!